Picking up a conversation we just had offline around pet peeves when it comes to creating great applications. And obviously, there are some things about applications that go perfectly smoothly, and there are other things that are sort of stumbles along the way that maybe could have gone better, and those are our pet peeves. So Gavi, what are some of your pet peeves?
The first one that comes to mind is the invariable why this school essay that essentially just says top-notch academics, collaborative community, great network. Which could be said about virtually any of these schools. You don't need to tell them what they already know about themselves. Do your homework.
One of my pet peeves is then you describe the class that you say you want to take there. So I want to take the operations class, and then you spend 3 or 4 lines telling them what the operations class is. And I just remind people, it's their class. It's not your class. It's their class. How about something else?
Unique. When everything is unique and everyone is unique.
Right.
Definition of the word means one of a kind. So you can't all be unique. Try to find some different adjectives and think about what are you really trying to say here.
Right. And what is not unique is the times that someone comes to me and says, listen, I want it to be a great essay. I want it to be super creative. I want it to really capture the reader. At no point do we believe it's a creative writing project. At the end of the day, there are certain messages you have to communicate. And if we can do that in an interesting way, that's fantastic. If it requires a different strategy, then by all means that works too.
Well, I think there's different kinds of creativity, right? We want to be creative. You don't want to be having, the standard, I've read this 10,000 times essay, but at the same time, you're not writing the great American novel. So, you need to be mindful. This is still a business school application. It still has to fit within the confines of, you're still you're not applying for a creative writing degree, right? So you still have to tell them how you communicate professionally, clearly, interestingly, memorably, yes.
Maybe 1 or 2 last pet peeves. One for me is recommenders. And one pet peeve is when the recommenders only are told they're writing a recommendation 3 days before the recommendation is due, which either means right before Labor Day or right before Christmas. You got to be kind to your recommenders. Otherwise, who knows what you'll get in terms of a recommendation.
One other one that comes to mind is when you're about to hit submit, you're 2 days before the deadline, and I say, I just showed this to my best friend, and who tore it apart and thinks that, this doesn't reflect me accurately, or whatever the critique might be.
What I always tell my clients, which is, essays only get worse the closer that you get to the deadline.
There is a pencils down moment. There's diminishing returns at some point. There is value in outside, perspectives, certainly, and we welcome them to a degree, right? What I always tell my clients is, this one data point, right? This person has, oftentimes it's my friend who got into HBS read this and said, you should do this. That's one data point. They got in. What we do this for a living. We have kind of a critical mass of information. I absolutely will take valid feedback and I welcome it. But at the same time, you have to kind of contextualize it.
Right. And also get it at the right time. Like you said, if it stays away, then that is somewhat dangerous feedback to get at that point. What is not dangerous, though, is coming to the mbaMission.com website, signing up for a free 30-minute consultation with me, Gavi, or any number of our colleagues.